triptych of art that's behind you. It's really beautiful. Okay, it looks like most of you are ready. So we'll just meet laying down on our mats when we're ready. Actually, meet sitting on your mat when you're ready. Okay. Okay. So just take a minute to look behind you, and just notice what's behind you. So if it's the space that you just came from, great. If there's a door, you can look through the door. But just taking a minute to, like, not in a performative way, but just in a very real way, turn around and look at what is behind you. And then when you're ready, you'll come to lay down flat on your mat. Okay, and you can close your eyes and just place your hands anywhere on your body. It might feel nice to place one on the belly and one on the chest. And see if you can just soften into the support of the floor. Soften so that the contents of the front body can spread into the support of the back body. So while we're bringing this softness into the body, just notice the quality of your thoughts. Noticing if your mind is moving quickly or slowly. If you feel any tension or bracing in your physical body, and maybe that's connected to the quality of tension in your mind, the pace at which your mind is moving. And see if you can just drop your awareness down into your breath. So letting the thoughts be as they are, but bringing our awareness a little bit deeper into the breath that is moving the body. So prana, this life force rushing into the body on our inhale as we expand into our environment. Just letting it fill you, and then letting it empty as you exhale. Just begin to trace with your mind's eye through a body scan all the points of contact you're making with the floor. And see if you can yield even deeper into those points of contact. So the heels and backs of the lower leg, maybe the backs of the upper thigh and the glutes, pelvis sinking and softening even deeper into the floor. The elbows and shoulders, the back of the head, all softening. Then just noticing all of the parts of the body that are lifted away from the floor. So the secondary curves of the knees, the Achilles tendons, the ankles, the low back, the back of the neck. Seeing if you can soften into the points of contact to bring those secondary curves a little bit closer to the earth. spreading across the back body, making more room at the front of the body. And you'll bend your knees and just plant the soles of the feet onto the floor. You can keep your eyes closed here. Also, there's an invitation to just let them slowly open, taking light into the organs of the eyes. And then bring the heel of your palm into the crease of your hips. So right where the thigh is rooted into the pelvis, and just start to gently palpate the root of the thigh. So we're creating a little bit of space between the thigh and the pelvis, right? Deepening into this hip crease. Just noticing any sensation that might be rising around your spine. So we're starting to work into the psoas, which is this long muscle that connects our lower body to our upper body, attaches to our spine, and then feeds into our diaphragm. So get curious here and play as you press into the psoas, into the hip crease, just seeing if you can notice any tugging or pulling along the back, along the spine. Continuing to deepen the breath and just noticing how that quality of breath interplays with this pulling. How does it feel when you inhale and expand into the ribs as you press down into the root of the thighs? And then how does it feel as you exhale and continue pressing? What sensations can you notice across the back of the body? Okay, then we'll find Uddiyana Bandha. So we'll take one collective breath in, breathing deeply in through the nose. Keep both hands pressing down into the roots of the thighs as you exhale all the air out of your body, and then stay empty and seal the lips. Just let the chin drop down towards the chest to engage Jala Bandha. And then take a mock inhalation. So staying empty, hug the belly in towards the spine, letting the rib basket expand, right? Gravity will help kind of fill out this three-dimensional shape change in the ribs. And then when you feel ready, just release the bind on the throat and the lips and just let the air rush into the body. Okay, we'll do that again. Take an exhale, let all the air leave the body. Keep pressing the heels of the hands into the roots of the thighs. Stay empty, seal the mouth. Let the chin drop down towards the chest, and then take a mock inhalation. So belly pulls back towards the spine as the ribs expand out towards the sides of the room. Finding this concave kind of suction action in the belly, right deep in the organs. And then release the bind, just let the air rush in. Okay, you'll just come onto the balls of your feet and then narrow the elbows in towards the sides of your ribs. Press down through the feet and the elbows to lift the pelvis up towards the ceiling. And then either take your stack of books and kind of slide them underneath your pelvis, or you'll take your two blocks stacked on their medium height and place them underneath your pelvis. Okay, you might have to adjust a little bit if your mat is sticky, so take your time to set up here. And then if this height is, if you immediately feel like a little pulling or pinching in your low back, if there's this like kind of loud or sharp acute pain, just take one of the blocks out and come down to that medium height on your block. So your book should be set up to already kind of be at this height. This is kind of like the smaller height that you'll be working with. I'm going to stay high on 2 blocks. Okay, and you want your pelvis fully supported here so you don't feel like the top of your pelvis is falling back down to the mat, but you also don't feel like your tailbone is falling forward. Okay, and then lift on the inside of your chest. So the chest is reaching up towards the ceiling. And then we have an anterior tilt to the pelvis. So rather than grounding down through the low belly, we're actually kind of reaching the hip points up and heavying through the tailbone. So coming into this more slight anterior tilt of the pelvis. Okay, and then go ahead and just narrow the feet towards the midline an inch or so. And then hug the right knee in towards the chest. You can either grab onto the leg behind the knee or grab onto the shin. Okay, and then keep lifting the chest on the inside of your body. So we're not settling down to the shoulders. We're finding this nice lift up through the upper body. And then start to narrow the left leg towards the midline. So you'll begin to feel the arch of the left foot working, the inseam of the left leg working. Okay, activate the hamstring at the back of the leg to pull the left heel closer to the props that you're set up on. And then just slowly start to descend the heel down towards the floor. Okay, so this might be the focus for some of you, is just getting that left big toe to press down, right? The left inseam to narrow towards the midline. You can start to pull the right knee in towards the chest and see if you can spread the legs apart from one another. Deep breathing. We'll stay here for one more cycle of breath. And then slowly start to just inch the toes forward, okay? Warming up the arch of the foot as you begin to crawl the foot forward. The leg will slowly extend. Only go so far that you can keep the toes down onto the floor. So we want to keep this integrity of the sole of the foot pressing down. And then again, continuing to narrow the inseam of the left leg towards the midline. Okay, just noticing how the chin has dropped down towards the chest. We'll be finding this Jalabandha like we found as we started to find Uddiyana Bandha, which is that spreading of the ribs towards the sides of the room. And then maybe start to pull the right knee in a little bit closer towards the chest. And then as you breathe, just notice the breath, almost as if it were like a tide, right? So we're inhaling and taking our breath all the way up into the throat. And then exhaling, the breath starts to travel down through the torso, out through the left femur, so across the left hip point, emptying all the way across the inside of the left leg. Okay, then you'll dorsiflex the left foot. So toes peel away from the floor, heel is grounded down. Stabilize the femur of the left leg and then just extend the lower leg away from the floor. So the leg will be straight and you'll be able to see your shin over the peak of your ribs. Bring your hands to your ribs and take an exhale, just bracing the ribs in towards center. And then from the work of the left glute and the left hamstring, start to pull the left heel down towards the floor. And then exhale, just lift the toes up towards the ceiling again, so you can see the shin over the ribs. Okay, exhale, brace the ribs in, activate the glute and the hamstring, drop the heel down towards the floor, and then inhale, lift through the leg. Two more like that. Exhale, bracing the ribs in as you drop the heel down from the work of the back of the leg. And then inhale, lift it up. Exhale, bracing the ribs in, activating the back of the leg to lower the heel down. And then inhale, lift it up. Okay, just bend the left knee in towards the chest, drop the right toes down towards the floor, hug on wrap your fingers around the front of the left knee or maybe behind it, wherever you're working. And then use the right hamstring just to walk the right toes a little bit closer to the props that you're set up on, then slowly let the heel descend down towards the floor. Okay, and then again, focus for you here might be to just ground down through the right big toe mound and narrow the inseam of the right leg towards center. You check in with your chest, see if you can lift on the inside of your body so the chest is reaching up towards the ceiling. And then start to hug the left knee in towards the chest. So we're just trying to widen and kind of reach the legs away from one another. You can think about reaching the right knee forward. And maybe you'll start to feel this stretch across the front of the right hip. One more cycle of breath. And exhale. Okay, then you'll crawl the right toes forward. Again, take your time. Take this as an opportunity to begin to warm up the arch of the right foot. And go far enough forward, only as far as you can, while keeping the toes and the sole of the foot pressing down onto the floor. And then once you get there, refirming the leg in towards the midline, right? Pressing down through the inner right arch, the inside of the right leg firming in towards center, towards your spine. And then start to maybe hug the left knee in a little bit farther towards your chest. Okay, keeping the right thigh where it is, dorsiflex the right foot, so toes start to lift away from the floor. And then just lift the lower leg to straighten through the right leg, so much so that you can see the right shin over your ribs. Okay, then bring the hands towards the ribs. Take an exhale, bracing the ribs in towards the spine, and then activating the glute and the right hamstring. Just start to lower the right heel down towards the floor. Okay, inhale, lift the leg up. And then exhale, bracing the ribs in, activating the backs of the legs, firming the glute to lower the heel down. And then inhale, lifting up. Two more like that. Exhale, bracing the ribs in to lower the heel down. Inhale, lifting up. Last one, brace the ribs in on your exhale, delivering the heel, reaching towards the floor. And then inhale, lifting up. Okay, go ahead and bend through both knees. Now just bring the balls of the feet down onto the floor. Okay, you'll press down through the elbows and the balls of the feet again. If you're already on one block, stay there. Otherwise, you'll just move one block off of the other and then come to the medium height. I'm going to flip the block up to its medium height. Just letting the pelvis settle again onto the block. Okay, and then just drop the heels, feet are in parallel. Turn the right foot out, and then slowly start to lower the left knee down towards the floor. Okay, so we're taking weight into the left side of the pelvis. We'll get a little bit light on the right side. You might even feel if you're on a block, like the right corner of the block start to lift up away from the floor. Totally fine. Just starting to stretch the inner left thigh. As you inhale, imagining that the entire breath is traveling across the front of the left hip and filling up that inner leg. And then exhaling, just softening and letting the weight of the left leg take you deeper into this descent towards the floor. 2 more cycles of breath. Go ahead and lift the arms overhead, just letting them rest onto the ground. This last cycle of breath. And on your exhale, you'll just come back up through center. Okay, keep the arms where they are, just parallel the feet. Now turn out the left foot and then let the right leg, right knee drop down towards the floor. Again, taking a little bit more weight into the right half of the pelvis. The left pelvis will get light. Okay, and just letting the breath fill the body, spreading across the right hip point all the way into the inner right thigh. We'll stay here for 2 more cycles of breath. See if you can drop your thoughts down into the fullness of your breath. Okay, at the bottom of that last exhale, you'll just bring the legs back up to neutral. And then just narrowing the elbows in towards the sides of the ribs. Just lift off of the block and place it onto the side of your mat. Just letting the pelvis come all the way down onto the floor. Take your time to move the books that you're using out of the way. And then just take a moment to acknowledge any kind of physical or energetic shifts that have happened in the body. How does the pelvis feel in relationship to the chest and shoulder girdle? Just noticing the quality of connection through between the pelvis and the earth. Any energetic shifts that have occurred. A sense of yielding or releasing that's expanded and softening that's expanded. And then you'll hug the knees in towards your chest and just gently rock up to find a seated position at the top of your mat. So just letting your hands rest onto your knees and finding a little bit of a lift through the sacrum. So the sacrum is lifting in towards the spine. And then just take a moment to notice, without changing anything, where your head is in relationship to your pelvis. Okay, and imagine that there was a light shining out the crown of your head and a light shining out the bottom of your tailbone. Where would those lights be shining? Can you trace those spotlights with your mind's eye? Maybe closing your eyes takes you a little deeper into your body to get there. And then for most of us, we'll need to shift our head back. So see if you can start to bring those lights into a clearer alignment with vertical. So getting the crown of the head to really shine up as the tailbone, our root, starts to shine directly down. So we retreat into the back body, right? We move backwards into ourselves to find this plumb line so that gravity can fall across the spine, right, as the bones stack on top of one another and give us this real true feeling of vertical. And just notice for yourself if you felt any kind of energetic shift as you moved into this backspace, right? I say retreating not as this idea of shrinking, but as this way of making more room for what's in front of us, giving ourselves a little bit more space to engage with what's in front of us. While at the same time, we're expanding into this backspace, right? Into everything that came before us, bringing everything with us into the present moment. So connecting with our past selves, connecting with where we came from, with the people that came with us, right? The people that came before us, allowing ourselves to expand and soften into that space as a place of support. And noticing the real energetic shift that comes from being in this place where we're leaning forward in anticipation to actually softening into this more receptive posture. Okay, and then just take a little bit of grip into the hands. So really holding onto the knees and kind of brightening the tone of the shoulder girdle to see if you can pacify the hip flexors here. So really softening into the hip crease, really feeling that hip flexor, the psoas, kind of drop down into the floor, down towards the floor as we kind of take on this holding position in the shoulders. And then softening into the shoulders and noticing how our hip flexors brighten to kind of help hold us here as we release in the hands and the arms and find this kind of relaxed position in the shoulders. And then just transferring that tone one more time. So grabbing onto the knees, brightening the tone and this kind of holding posture in the shoulders without overly gripping, but feeling that stability so that we can soften into the hip crease. And then again, just softening into the shoulders to allow ourselves to sit and be held a little bit more by the hips. Maybe seeing what we can let go of as we find ourselves sitting tall here. Right? Using gravity and the structure of the bones stacking in vertical to help us sit. Okay, then you'll just roll forward over the shins, placing the palms onto the floor and just walk the feet back towards downward facing dog. Okay, take one deep inhale through the nose. And then exhale all the air out of the mouth. We'll find Uddiyana Bandha. So stay empty, seal the lips, and then hug the belly in towards the spine, flaring the ribs on a mock inhalation. Okay, release the bind, let the air rush in, and then lift the right heel up towards the ceiling for three-legged dog. Find this narrowing of the inner left leg towards the midline like we found laying down on our blocks. And then step the right foot forward, lower the left knee for crescent lunge. Okay, firm the left glute, untuck the toes, lift the arms overhead on your inhale. And then exhale, bring the hands down to the floor, tuck the back toes, either stay high on the ball of the front foot, extend the legs, or drop the heel down, Parsvottanasana. We inhale, bend through low lunge, plant the palms, step the right foot back to plank, lower the knees, and press back to child's pose. Inhale, shift forward to plank, tuck the toes. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Deep inhale through the nose. And then exhale for Uddiyana Bandha, staying empty at the bottom of your exhale. Hug the belly in towards the spine. Flare the ribs for a mock inhalation. Then release the bind. Take an inhale. Lift the left heel up towards the ceiling for three-legged dog. Narrowing the inside of the right leg so the inseam narrows towards the midline. Okay, step the left foot forward on your exhale, lower the right knee, untuck the toes. Okay, firm the right glute and then lift the arms overhead, crescent lunge on your inhale. Exhale, lower the hands down to the floor, tuck the back toes, straighten through both legs. Either stay high on the ball of the back foot or ground the heel down and in. Bend through the front knee, low lunge, plant the palms on the floor, step the left foot back to meet the right, lower the knees, exhale back to extended child's pose. And then stay where you are, just untuck the toes and come to sit on top of the shins. Okay, take the rolled up towel and just put it, lay it across your Achilles tendons. So it'll go right in between the ankles and the sit bones. And then shift forward and just move your calves towards the sides of your mat. Okay, widen the heels. You can sit directly on top of the heels, or you can find hero's pose. So you'll widen the heels to be kind of a little bit wider than the hips. So the heels are hugging around the sides of the hips. And then shift forward, move the calf muscles towards the sides of your mat so that the inner thighs can start to roll towards the inside, right? So we're kind of coming into internal rotation through the thighs. And then interlace the fingers, press them forward. So invert the hands, reaching the wrist side of the palm forward as you sharpen the elbows towards one another. Okay, now start to pull the heart towards the space behind you as you find a cat spine, noticing how the sit bones start to reach towards the back of the knees. And then lift the arms overhead, getting tall. See if you can go slow here so that you're staying expanded across the back of the body. So we're not spilling forward through the fronts of the ribs, but really staying soft. And then let the arms be a little bit farther forward so that you can begin to maybe sense the arms coming into your peripheral vision. Keep reaching the arms up to lift the ribs off of the pelvis, creating a little bit more space for the breath. And then right hand comes down to the floor, reach the left arm up, and then just take a side bend. You're letting the crown of the head pour down to the floor, but finding a little bit of support through the right side of the neck so that we don't lock the left neck long here. And then just pressing the right hand into the floor to keep pouring weight through the left pelvic half. You take an inhale, just let the ribs lift up towards the ceiling as you find a small twist. And then exhale, they'll just face the space out in front of you. Okay, press the floor away, tee the arms, and then you'll cross the arms so that the left elbow is underneath the right. Okay, back of the palm, start to reach towards one another. If you want to kind of deepen the twist and start to reach the palms towards each other, that's an option too. And then start to press the elbows down towards the floor. So the entire shoulder blade will draw down the back. Keep pressing the arms in towards one another as well. Okay, then release the bind. Interlace the fingers, opposite thumb on top. Invert the hands, reaching them forward, wrist side reaching farther forward than the knuckles. Sharpen the elbows towards one another. And then start to draw the heart towards your back space, coming into a cat spine as you reach the wrists forward. Just noticing the belly drawing into the spine and the sits bones reaching towards the backs of the knees. And then lift that whole shape overhead, taking a lift into the chest, just staying soft towards the back of the body so that we're not borrowing any range of motion from the front ribs. Breathing deeply here, lifting through the arms to help lift the ribs away from the pelvis. Keeping the arms slightly forward so that you can begin to sense them coming into your peripheral vision. They won't be so far forward you can see them, but just far enough that you can begin to sense that they're there. Drop the left hand down to the floor, reach up through the right, and then take a side bend over towards the left. You press the left hand into the floor to let the right pelvis descend down towards the mat. And then just check in with your left side neck. So see if you can actually lift the neck a little bit so that we're staying nice and supported while energetically pouring out through the crown of the head. Right fingers are reaching for the floor. Take an inhale, just let the ribs lift up towards the ceiling for a gentle twist. And then exhale, they'll face the space out in front of you. Okay, tee the arms and then you'll swing the arms. Right elbow will be underneath the left now. Either backs of the hands press in towards the midline, or you'll continue that spiral, reaching the palms towards one another. Press the elbows down to take the entire shoulder blade down the length of the back. One more deep cycle of breath here. And then just release the bind, shift forward, move the towel off to the side of your space. Plant the palms and press back to downward facing dog. Just taking a moment to really feel this stretch and release across the back of the legs. Take one deep inhale through the nose and exhale for Uddiyana Bandha. Stay empty, seal the mouth, hug the belly in towards the spine, take a mock inhalation, spreading the ribs away from one another, this deep hollowing out of the belly as the ribs come into this flying lid lock. Then release the bind, let the air rush in, lift the right heel up towards the ceiling for three-legged dog. Exhale, step the foot forward, lower the left knee, untuck the toes. Okay, firm the left glute, lift the arms overhead, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come down to the floor, tuck the back toes, straighten through both legs, Parsvottanasana. Inhale, low lunge, and then turn both toes in towards the left side of the mat. You'll come to a standing, folded, wide-legged split. Tent the fingers, lift the head halfway, crown of the head reaches forward as the sit bones reach back, and then exhale, forward fold over the legs. Okay, grab onto the left ankle with the right hand, and then just take a stretch. See if you can stabilize through the pelvis. So just isolating this stretch through the upper body, maybe beginning to turn and twist the ribs underneath the right arm here. And then bend through the right knee, just taking a deeper stretch into the inner left leg. Okay, walk the hands towards the front of the mat and then bend through the right knee, lift the left heel away for low lunge. Plant the left palm onto the floor and then reach the right arm back behind you as you start to draw the right hip back in space. Keep the right hip reaching as you circle the right arm overhead. Okay, plant the hand down onto the floor, step the right foot back to meet the left for plank. On your exhale, lower the knees, sit back for extended child's pose. Inhale, shift forward through plank, press back to your downward facing dog on your exhale. Deep cycle of breath, inhale through the nose. And exhale all the air out of the mouth. Staying empty for Uddiyana Bandha, flying lid lock, hug the belly in towards the spine, spread through the ribs. And then release the bind, inhale, letting the air rush in, lift the left heel up towards the ceiling. Okay, exhale, step the foot forward, lower the right knee onto the floor, untuck the toes. Firm the right glute, inhale, lift the arms overhead for crescent lunge. And then exhale, hands come down to the floor, tuck the back toes, extend through both legs. Take your inhale to turn the toes in, come to the right side of your mat. Let the crown of the head hang down towards the floor. Tent the fingers, inhale, lift the crown of the head halfway as it reaches out in front of you. Sits bones reach back. Exhale, folding over the legs. Okay, grab onto the right ankle with the left hand, and then just start to bend the left elbow. So we're taking a stretch through the left side of the body, maybe beginning to turn and twist to peek underneath the left arm. And then just bend through the, left knee. So we're taking a stretch through the right leg. Started to go the other way. I was like, that's not right. You walk your hands forward, find a low lunge at the top of the mat, and then ground the right hand down towards the floor. Reach the left hands back as the left hip reaches back behind you. Keep circling the left hand overhead as you keep reaching the hip in the opposite direction. Place the left hand onto the floor and then place the left foot back to plank pose. Okay, lower the knees down to the floor, come back to extended child's pose. Shift forward on your inhale, exhale all the way back to downward facing dog. And then just walk yourself forward towards the top of the mat. We'll meet in a standing forward fold. Bend through the knees, slowly standing and finding vertical. Stacking the vertebrae one by one, lift the arms overhead, bring them to prayer. So palms will seal overhead and then just settle the palms at heart center as you find Tadasana. And then take a moment here to check in again with the head and where it is in relationship to the pelvis. So for most of us, gently shifting our weight back into the heels, finding this plumb line is where we want to move towards, right? So that we can spread across the width of the back body, coming into this plane of connection, right? These things, this way of being in relationship to the things beside us, while also we're finding this expansion across our core, across the spiraling and spring-like shape of our spine. So connecting down past our feet, past the container of our body, past the crust of the earth down to the core, and then out through the top of the head, past the ceiling of the room that we're in, perhaps past floors that are on top of ours, out beyond the building, up towards the cosmos. So feeling this connection, this three-dimensionality through the body as we start to settle into our back space. And then just heel toe the feet together so the toes, big toes touch, a little bit of space between the heels. Go ahead and sit back and find chair pose. Arms again are a little bit farther forward, so they're not so far back to come into like this extension of the neck. But see if you can really start to drop the tailbone down towards the floor. And even here, can there be a gentle lifting on the inside of the body away from the floor, spreading into the back body? Okay, dropping all the way down to a forward fold. Hands come onto the floor, bend the knees. Step the right foot back, left foot back to plank, and then take a vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog, take one cycle of breath. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. Inhale, lift the right heel up towards the ceiling. Step the foot through and then ground the left heel down and in for warrior one. Stand down through the legs to lift the upper body as you reach the arms overhead. Find a prayer as you gaze up towards the fingers. And then exhale, plant the hands onto either side of the right foot, peel the left heel away, step back to downward facing dog. We inhale the left heel up towards the ceiling. Exhale, step it towards the left thumb tip. Ground the right heel down and in. Stand down through the legs to lift the arms up for warrior one. And then open up to warrior two. Just heel toe the left foot across towards the right side of the mat. Okay, take a reverse warrior, reaching the right hand down as the left fingers reach back. Keep widening and reaching the left knee forward to spread the leg away from the left arm. Then you'll continue this circle. Left hand will come down towards the mat and then through to come to extended side angle. So left elbow reaches onto the knee, sweeping the right arm up and overhead. Gentle twist of the ribs up towards the ceiling. And then exhale the right palm down to the floor, lift the right heel away. Heel toe the left foot back towards the left side of the mat. Then reach the left fingers back behind you as the hip reaches back. Keep circling the hand overhead to come down to the mat. Step the right foot forward to meet the left. Big toes to touch, forward fold. Bend through the knees, a little bit of space between the heels. Sit back and find chair. And then Tadasana, mountain pose. See if you can dial in that posture. So returning to where we just were. Inhale, sit back, find chair pose. See if you can find this gentle lift on the inside of the body, moving deeper into the back body. Then exhale, forward fold. Hands come down towards the floor. Bend the knees, step the left foot back, low lunge, plant the palms, right foot back to meet it. Take a vinyasa. One deep cycle of breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale the left heel up, three-legged dog. Exhale, step the foot towards the left thumb tip, ground the right heel down and in. You're standing down through the legs to lift the arms overhead, praying them up towards the ceiling as you gaze up to the fingers. Exhale, draping the torso over the leg. Okay, lifting the right heel away and then pressing back on your downward facing dog. Inhale the right heel up, and then exhale, step the foot towards the right thumb tip. Ground the left heel down and in, and then inhale, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, find warrior two, just moving the right foot towards the left side of the mat. Okay, reverse your warrior, left fingers drop, right fingers reach back as the right knee reaches forward, spreading, feeling that connection between inner thigh and right finger. Keep circling the hands down. You'll bring the elbow towards the right knee, and then you'll swim the left fingers out and overhead. You take a gentle lift of the ribs up towards the ceiling. Then exhale, find low lunge. Just widen the right foot towards the right side, peeling the left heel away from the floor. Plant the left palm, reach the right finger and thigh back in space. Then keep circling the right hand all the way forward. Plant the hand down, step the left foot forward to meet the right. Little bit of space between the heels. Sit back, find chair pose, bend through the knees. Then exhale, Tadasana. Okay, inhale, just go ahead and sit back, find chair pose. And then stack the right knee over the left. Okay, you can just keep the back of the right leg kind of firming into the left leg, or you can start to maybe wrap the toes around towards the inside of the left ankle. Keep firming the legs in towards one another to help you stand here. And then, wow, I'm really having a hard time balancing. Stack the left elbow underneath the right. If you're having a hard time balancing, just bring the right toes down to the floor. That's a great place to work as well. Okay, stack the left elbow underneath the right, and then press the elbows down towards the floor as you firm, again, the arms in towards one another. With your foot or right toes down to the floor, you can play around with maybe lifting them and settling deeper into this balance. Okay, and then just uncross the legs, uncross the arms. Feet are parallel. Just start to forward fold. You'll interlace the fingers back behind you, sealing the roots of the palms and just letting the arms fall towards the space out in front of you. Okay, bend through the knees, plant the palms, step the right foot back, left foot back to meet it. Take a vinyasa. One deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale, lift the right heel up. Exhale, step it towards the right thumb tip, ground down through the left heel. Take the inhale, lift the arms, warrior one, gaze up to the fingers. And then exhale, draping the torso over the thigh. Press back to downward facing dog. Inhale the left heel up. And then exhale, step it towards the left thumb tip, ground the right heel down. Inhale, stand up, warrior one. And then exhale, find warrior two. Reverse your warrior as the left fingers fall back, left knee reaches forward. Keep circling as you find extended side angle, reaching the right fingers overhead. And then exhale the right hand down to the floor. Just widen the left foot towards the midline. Inhale, sweep the left hip and left fingers back as you keep circling with the arm, dropping the fingers down to the floor. Step the right foot forward to meet the left. Toes touch, a little bit of space between the heels. Go ahead and sit back, find chair pose. Okay, other side, just stack the left foot over the right. And then again, you can bring the toes down to the floor to help you balance, or maybe start to wrap the toes around the inside of the right ankle. This side, you'll stack the left elbow on top of the right, and then firm everything in towards the midline. So legs are firming in towards one another to help us stabilize here. Arms are firming in towards one another to help us stabilize. Maybe lifting those left toes to help find and dial in that balance. Okay, then you'll uncross the legs, uncross the arms. Just come to forward fold over the legs. Interlace the fingers, seal the wrists together, the root of the palms together, and then let the arms fall overhead to the space out in front of you. Okay, bend through the knees, plant the palms, step the left foot back, low lunge, right foot back to meet it, take a vinyasa. One deep breath here, inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, lift the left heel up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, step it towards the left thumb tip, ground the right heel down and in, lift up, warrior one. And then exhale, forward fold, plant the palms, lift the right heel, step back to find downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right heel up, and then exhale, step the foot towards the right thumb tip, ground the left heel down and in. Inhale, lift up, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Keep circling the arm to extended side angle on your inhale. Exhale, find low lunge. Just widen the right foot towards the midline. And then reach the right fingers back, reach the right hip back on your inhale. Keep circling the arm overhead. Place the hand down, step the left foot forward to meet the right. And then just bend through the knees, just hovering on the balls of the feet. So we'll upright the spine. Option to just stay here balancing. You can also play around with bringing the hands onto the thighs, playing with this idea that we've been finding all class, moving towards the back of the body, creating a little bit more space for the groins, a little bit more space at the front of the hips. Okay, then lower the knees down to the floor, and then you'll just shift off to the side of your shins. So come to sit, and then grab onto whatever strap-ish thing you're using. Okay, and you'll put the strap around the sole of your right foot and come to lay all the way down. And then go ahead and extend the leg up towards the ceiling. Blocks can be moved out of the way. Okay, flex strongly through the left foot. So the heel of the left foot is reaching forward as the toes peel back towards your face. And then find a slight internal rotation of that leg. So the left leg isn't falling out, but again, we're finding this activation of the midline, the inseam of the leg towards the midline. Okay, you can bring the strap onto the ball of your right foot to help you also flex through the right foot. And then if your strap is long enough, just bring your elbows down towards the floor. If you're more like hanging out here, totally fine. You'll just be using your arms a little bit more for this. And then see if you can just get the heel to stack directly over the hip. So we're finding this plumb line through the leg, right? The stacking of the bones. And then can you start to peel or draw the pinky side of the foot back a little bit more than the toe side. And we're going to stay here for about half a minute, just to let the femur bone really settle into the hip socket. Check in with the quality of your breath. Check in with what's happening with the left foot. Can you Bring awareness and pay attention to two legs doing similar but different things at the same time. Noticing the tone of your nervous system in this kind of relationship to gravity. Our standing series is done. So just noticing what's shifted for you as we kind of work down towards the floor. Okay, then you'll take your strap into your left hand, widen the right hand, and just tee the right arm, placing it down onto the floor. And then slowly start to move your leg across your body. Okay, keeping weight pouring down through the right hip. I'm starting to stretch through the outer kind of blade of the leg. Just finding a place where you can hang out and kind of hold without feeling like you're overly gripping. If you feel like there's a lot of tension that's come up in the rest of your body, maybe back off a little bit. Dropping your awareness down into your breath, letting your breath carry you here. Okay, and then just rewriting the leg, moving it back through center. And then just open the leg towards the right side of the room. So left pelvic half stays heavy. You can keep the elbow kind of bent down into the floor to help give a little leverage here. If this feels like an impossible thing to hold, or you're really like resisting releasing into this posture, you're also welcome to take your blocks on their medium height and stack them, or bring your stack of books to the right side of your mat, and then just set up to actually let your leg rest onto the block so that you don't have to work quite as hard to hold it there. I like to bring the blocks just underneath my knee. So my knee's not resting on the blocks, but kind of this side of my calf is. And then just making sure that the integrity of the left leg is still there. So we're flexing through that foot, finding parallel, maybe even a slight internal rotation as we stabilize through the left side. Taking what you need here, seeing if you can find a place of yielding, right? Really softening into this stretch. Dropping your thoughts down into your breath. Seeing if you can really expand into the kidney band, into the backs of the ribs. Just if you're holding or resisting the floor through the ribs, through the shoulders, see if you can soften in the torso and allow it to settle down into the floor. And then moving the leg through center at the bottom of your next exhale. Just go ahead and move your blocks over to the other side of your space if you use them on the right. And then you'll just place your strap across the bottom of your left foot and come to lay all the way down. Okay, right foot is flexed, left foot is flexed. So heels are reaching both up towards the ceiling and out to the space in front of us. Toes are peeling back towards the body. Use the strap on the left ball of the foot to help you find that flex, that dorsiflexion. And then just let the elbows drop down to the floor if you have enough strap to get there. Finding a slight internal rotation through the right leg. Okay, so there's this relating of the inseam towards the midline here. And then just finding this plumb line from heel to hip. So the left heel is directly stacked over the left hip so that there's a little bit of ease as we find this stretch. 2 more deep cycles of breath. And just taking the straps into the right hand, tee the left arm so it's coming down onto the floor. And then just move the left leg across the body, coming down towards the right side of your space. And then I like to use my elbow onto the floor to help kind of give my arm a little support here. Keep heavying down through the left pelvic half. So we're not coming into a huge twist, but pinning the left hip down to keep finding a deepening in the stretch across the outer left side. And if you find any like really intense gripping to hold yourself here, maybe just back off, getting to a point where you can release a little bit more into this stretch across the outer left leg. Seeing if you can soften in the ribs. So notice if you're holding around your breath to resist the floor rising to meet your body. And on your next exhale, just move the leg towards the midline. Then you'll take the strap into the left hand and just widen the leg towards the left side. Continuing to pour weight down through the right pelvic half. And then just noticing is if you took the blocks on the other side, just bring the blocks underneath the left leg. If you didn't, just see if you can set yourself up to find a little bit of ease and maybe a little bit more tension or holding through the left arm to allow the left leg to really soften and settle into this stretch. And see if you can relax the muscles in your face. And soften in between the brow where your third eye is, where we tend to hold a lot of concentration. See if you can find a little bit more ease, letting go a little bit more to settle into this place of stretch. So you're pressing the right heel forward as you peel the right toes back. Just finding integrity through the right leg as an anchor for the left. And then at the bottom of your next exhale, you'll just re-center the leg over the body. Then just bring both feet into the strap. So strap will be kind of resting across the balls of the feet. Again, press the heels up and then just widen the elbows down towards the floor. Just finding this kind of sweet spot of suspension. Usually we do this like legs up the wall, but the strap can be a really nice way to find this in the middle of the room. If you have a yoga strap like mine, you can actually even play around with making a loop. So just getting the metal part of your strap down near your face and making a little loop. And then a nice variation on this can be to actually place this loop around the back of your head, just above your ears. So this is a really nice way to kind of dial into the parasympathetic nervous system and kind of bring down the tone of the nervous system. And again, just finding this sweet spot for yourself so that you can really suspend here and the strap can totally support you without you needing to brace anywhere in the body. Just letting, if you're here, the chin soften to the chest. And taking a little gentle stretch into the back of the neck. We'll stay here for about half a minute more. Seeing if you can invite a little bit more length into your inhale and maybe even more into your exhale. So elongating this expiration of the breath. Even if your head is in the strap, just hold on to the strap, bend the knees, and slowly let the head come down to the floor. And then everyone can just bend the knees into the chest. Just move the strap off to the side of your space. And then go ahead and rock up to sit. We're going to take one more restorative posture here. So set up your blocks or your books, whatever you're using. You'll want a stack in the middle of your mat to support your back, and then a stack that's just a little bit taller for where your head would go. And then you'll take your bolster and you'll just lay your bolster across the books, across the blocks. And make sure that the bolster is making contact with the floor. So it might take you a moment to kind of find this, depending on what you're using. The bolster should be down onto the floor and then kind of at this slope extending towards the back of your mat. Okay, and then take your towel or blanket, whatever you're using, and just make sure that you're wrapping up the not the short side, but the long side. You might even need to like not fold your towel in half at all to get this bind. But we're going to take Baddha Konasana, so soles of the feet come together, and then you'll take your blanket and put it around the top of your ankles, and then you'll wrap the blanket in towards the inside of your ankles. So you're making like a little bind for your ankles just to help support the legs as they open. And then just make sure that you're close enough to your bolster so that your pelvis, your sacrum is coming right up to the edge. Option to work with your heels really close to your groins here, which will just take you into a kind of deeper hip opener, or you can keep them a little bit farther away from you. And then you'll use your hands to walk yourself back. Just make sure that you shift your pelvis so that the tailbone isn't, you're not stuck in an anterior tilt, but the tailbone is reaching towards your heels. And then just lower yourself down to lay onto your bolster. Okay, and then I like to bring the arms out towards either side. You can also let the hands rest onto your body, or just let them lay alongside your body. Okay, and we'll stay here for a few minutes, just letting yourself settle into the support of your props. Letting your breath return to its organic state. Just finding this gentle opening at the front of the body. Right, with all this space that we've made at the back of the body. Sometimes we can really put a lot of focus on opening the heart or opening the chest, so much so that we tend to constrict everything behind us. So I like to work with these kind of more elevated chest openers, almost like a softer back bend, to create a little bit more balance in the body from front to back. Even just having the kind of sensorial input of physical support of the props helps remind me of all this space that is behind me that needs just as much consideration as we work to open what's in front of us. And close with the gentle pranayama, little alternate nostril breathing. So just place your right hand towards your third eye. So the pointer and middle finger will come to rest in between your eyebrows. And then your thumb will rest on your right nostril. And you'll just make your ring finger available for your left nostril. The ring finger can be just underneath the eye, just left of the nostril, resting on your face. And so we're going to breathe in through the left nose and then hold at the top and then breathe out the right. And we'll take each breath part for 4 counts. So begin by breathing in through the left, 2, 3, 4, plugging both nostrils and holding, 2, 3, 4, releasing the right, exhale, 2, 3, 4. Then back up the right, 2, 3, 4, holding both closed, 2, 3, 4, exhaling out the left, 2, 3, 4. Inhale the left, 2, 3, 4, holding at the top, 2, 3, 4, exhaling out the right, 2, 3, 4, inhale up the right, 2, 3, 4, holding at the top, 2, 3, 4, exhaling out the left, 2, 3, 4. Continuing on for a few minutes, just on your own time, your own pace. Feel like you want to extend the breath over 5 counts, that's an option. You're more than welcome to do that. At any time this comes to feel like it's too much for you, you can just return to this natural, organic style of breath, just letting the hand come down towards the floor. And stick with it if it feels interesting. Seeing if you can really work with the fullness of your inhale, taking in as much breath as you can over the counts that you've chosen, and then seeing if you can get all of the air out of you in those same counts. It's taking the time you need to finish up your last cycle to get even from left to right. And just either making the choice to finish class here or bringing the knees towards center, and maybe just moving off to the side of your props and finding Shavasana, more traditional Shavasana, perhaps could bring the rolled up blanket underneath your knees or even move your bolster underneath your lower legs to give your low back a little bit of support. And we'll just take Shavasana, a short one today. Settling into the support of the earth, into the support of what's holding you. And letting everything spread wide and resting. Just take the next minute or so to either finish class here or find your way to a seated position. Moving the breath deeper into your body, and finding a tall spine if you're sitting, feeling that verticality of the crown reaching up as the tail drops down, creating more space for what's in between. Just bring your hands to prayer center and let the chin drop down towards the chest lift up to meet it. We'll take one breath to close our practice. Deep inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.